to interrupt Dean so he can address it. Dean, welcome. Are you ready to take over the baton?
Share screen. All right, can everybody see my screen?
I can.
All right, so I'm assuming everybody can see my screen. So we're going to go through a plethora of tools today, and probably even more if we have time. Some of the tools you may know, some of them you may not know, but what I want to do with some of them is show you some things that a lot of people seem to overlook. So we're going to start with a tool called Seekout. Seekout's one of my favorite tools, if not my favorite right now. And that's basically because what they've done is create a tool that does a lot of things. It does have a Chrome extension, which will allow you to grab people from different social sites, find contact info and all that. And then they have their own database. In this case, this particular part of it is 105 million people. Now, the question is, where are they getting those people from? These are all people that have been gotten from doing free Boolean Google searches for LinkedIn. So if you go site:/linkedin.com/in, which is an X-ray, and you put in Java developer, Seattle, all those people that get back are all people who have public profiles, which means right there on the internet, no big deal. You don't have to sign into LinkedIn or anything. And what they've done is they've done all those searches, grabbed all the information they can, and then enhanced it to give you more information. If LinkedIn went away today, that'd be fine because these people are still here. Now you're saying 105 million. There's obviously more than that on LinkedIn. However, there's a lot of things you need to take into account. LinkedIn says 500 million users. However, by the time you take away people with more than one profile, people who are fake, people who are no longer really in the market for various reasons, some of which are a little macabre, so we won't get into it, and people not in the US and all the variables, you're only looking at about 106 to 108 million people. And as you can see, they've got 105, and that number has been growing. It was actually 103.9 back in January, so it's growing. As you can also see, you can do a straight Boolean search, and on the left side are a plethora of search capabilities, including clearances, work authorizations, locations, diversity, where they're from, what current company, current title, past, all that. I'm not going to get into each one of them. And then down at the bottom, you can even exclude things such as exclude recruiters, exclude sales, and exclude leads. And you can exclude people that are already in projects or people you've already looked at, so you don't keep worrying about seeing the same people over and over and over again. That's not what I really want to talk about. What I want to talk about are two parts of this particular part of Seekout that very few people get. And that's their AIs. And part of the reason for that is because people don't push this little button. Now, what's this button? This button is a button, and I'm going to pick on Amazon, so if anybody's from Amazon, I'm sorry. And I'm going to pick a title, software engineer. What it is now doing, and as you can see, it came up with a lot of them, it is going out and looking at all the people, or went out and looked at all the people that it has in its system that currently work at Amazon and currently have the title software engineer. And what it did was create a persona, basically. It looked at them all and said, okay, these are the things it has in common. People went to this kind of school, got this kind of education, worked at these kind of places, live in these locations, blah, 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 blah. And these are the people that it feels meet those qualifications for you. I mean, done, over, pretty simple. And it's actually pretty accurate, at least I found. Only one person supported. Oh, okay. Sorry about the one person who can't hear me. So that's an AI. If you really think about it, that's an AI. Now, is it an AI like you tell Cortana, go find me this? No, but it's a pretty cool AI because it does a lot of the work for you. And anybody that does research knows that creating a persona is very important. Before you start sourcing, you should have a persona created of what you're looking for. And so this does a lot of that work for you. The other thing I'm going to show you as it relates to the sourcing piece and as it relates to this part of Seekout is going to be something within the folders. Now, I've got quite a few folders, and I'm going to go into one of them right now because I think this is the other part. You see, we found more candidates like the ones in the project. What it did is looked at all 384 people in this project. It did the same thing, created a persona, and now they're making recommendations, and there's one right there. I can decide to add to the project or no. And at that point, make my decision what I'm going to do, and they either get added or they don't. In this case, I am going to add him. I actually know who he is, and that's as far as I'm going because I just wanted to show you guys that. Really cool because you can literally start with 5 and let it do the work for you. Comes in very handy. You can export the list. You can find contact information. I've already got this person's contact information. My guess is he's in one of my other folders more than likely. And it does a really good job with that. So that's those two particular parts. Now, the other part I want to show you right now that's there is this, the GitHub search. What they've done is they've gone out and done the same thing like they did with the public LinkedIn thing profiles, except with GitHub. There are 13.1 million people in this thing. That's a lot of developers, testers, architects. For those of you that don't know, GitHub is a repository for code, and pretty much you're a coder if you're on there, or you can code or some combination. I mean, I'm on it, but I can actually code. I'm not a coder, but I can code. So this is, and as you see, the search criteria is there. You could put power filters, you could do Google, you can see how many stars you want them to have, what languages, locations, basically almost all the same things that you saw in the other search. And then of course you can also get rid of people you've already seen or not seen. Only see people who have emails available. Realize if they don't have an email for them, they usually show where they work, so you can always get work emails and then go from there. Does seek out use third-party cookies? Okay, does seek out use third-party cookies? I believe for some of the enhancement it does, but it's behind the scenes. Nothing you have to worry about. It's not done on your system. It's done behind the scenes. So the answer to that question would be yes, but not that way. Do your Boolean search directly against GitHub? Yes, this is only GitHub. We are only in the GitHub area, so it's only GitHub that you're using your Boolean searches for. If we're in the public profiles, that would be the LinkedIn stuff. Soon they'll be adding Facebook, then Twitter, then free searches out there on the net. But the difference is going to be they're going to actually create a database and populate it with a certain number of people. Like with Facebook, there's some talk about the different directions they can go. I mean, Facebook's got 3 billion people, and if you use the same fake and duplicates as you do with LinkedIn, which is usually what most people do, you're still looking at over 1 billion people. So what I'm thinking they're going to do is they're going to pick the 12 largest cities in the U.S. or, geographical cities, Seattle, LA, San Francisco, Dallas, Chicago, that type of stuff, Atlanta, Boston, and preload them and pre-enhance them, but give you the capability to find others and bring them into Seek Out. And the main reason for that is 1-something billion people is just way too many to try to do. And then as far as free stuff goes, they're basically going to go out and start looking for resumes, profiles, bios, lists of speakers and all that, and bring it in and create another tab for you to search. Let's see, this is D. I'm getting blocked with any extension now from corporate. That stinks. Sorry about that, D. Not everything I do here is going to be an extension. And by the way, this right here is not an extension. This is actually the website. I'm not going to show you the extension because it's, it basically just finds content info or lets you grab people and put them in here. So I don't see a reason to waste a lot of time showing you that. The other thing I want to show you is insights. Remember I told you that if you're a sourcer, a researcher, you should be creating a persona and doing research first. This helps you do some of that research. You can find out all sorts of information, insights about a company, insights about a position, learn about a particular role in a city, or use keyword filters to find info. So let's look at this. Let's look at Amazon, and then we're going to go into a title. I'm sorry, I keep picking on Amazon. I just do. I don't know why. I guess I just like picking on it. And look at what we get. We get a nice breakdown of location, where these people are located the most, past companies they came from. As you can see, a lot of them came from Amazon, so that tells me they were promoted into the position or what have you. Past titles, so this is titles that they've had in the past. Skills, most of them are Java and then C++, which I find interesting. Years of experience, a lot of 5 to 10 years people. Years in a role, a lot of less than 2 years, hence the promotion part. A lot of schools, a lot of University of Southern California, Carnegie Mellon, UW. The type of degree they have, mostly bachelor's and master's. The majors, of course, computer science, one would expect, and actual diversity numbers, female, Hispanic, veteran, African American, country of origin, industries, top certifications, top languages, and all the others. I mean, there's some really good stuff here. Really, really neat stuff that you guys should be able to use to create a persona or to get an idea what you're looking for or whatever the case may be. This is one of the better parts of this tool. And of course, you can view candidates, meaning it's already going out and done the work for you. Click, and you can view the candidate. And if you hover over each one, of course, it gives you a little more information. So in case you're down here like, okay, under 500, but exactly what's number? Well, there's 80. Same thing here. It was 1.5. It's 1.9, 19.4% worked at Amazon, obviously got promoted or moved into, but it's actually 1.5 K candidates. That's what that number means. So are there any questions before I kind of move on? Well, good. There is one more thing I'm going to show you. And that's just because I just realized that I hadn't shown it to you. One of the things that I've always had a pet peeve about is, if I got a list of people, how in the blue blazes, there's nothing in here, there's a reason for that, do I find contact information? This particular thing, you see where it says upload candidate? That's where you can upload a CSV. And as long as you have the first name and last name, as a minimum, me personally, I like first name, last name, and title and company. Usually you can get that off of most lists. If I go to a speaker list, it'll say that. If I go to a attendee list, they usually say what company they're from and their title. But at least first name, last name, you can upload it and it will go out and try to match them up to people and then create their profile and enhance it and do all that good stuff for you. Now, obviously, if you just do it by name, the less information you provide, the most concerns you're going to have about duplication. So what happens if they find two people that it could be either one of them, it'll pop up, say it could, which one of these people is it? And you pick the one that is that person. And that's it. If none of them are the person, then you just pick none and that's it. That means they can't find anything on the person. That capability grows as they collect more public profiles, more information on people. The GitHub thing has made it grow more. Once Twitter, Facebook, and all these others, they'll grow more, that capability. It's really a pretty cool little tool that really makes life so much easier for you to just figure out what stuff is. And like I said, the good part is they'll try to find you contact info. If they don't, I never worry about it because I got the first name, last name, and where they work. I can find work emails and I'm good to go. And sometimes you find those work emails and you add them in here as well. Sometimes that gives them enough information to find the person. So that's the other part of the equation. Really cool. Like I said, it's one of my favorite tools. And I'm going to use the L word. I personally, as long as I'm don't need people out of the US, I don't go into LinkedIn for people in the US anymore. I come here. It's just easier, simpler, and much, 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 much cheaper.
Dean, someone asked if this is a free site.
I see that there's a limited amount free, but then to go beyond that, obviously it costs, everybody's got to make their money. I don't remember the exact numbers, but you do get some for free and then you pay. But like I said, here's the deal. You can get this tool like it is now and with all the updates that come with it for less than a third of one LinkedIn recruiter license. So, I mean, I know I understand free is always great. And like I said, you do get some for free. I forget exactly what the numbers are right now. When I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the cost for what you get is so much better than just about anything else. And then of course, with other tools, you never know when they come, they go, whatever. There's a lot of tools that do everything live off of LinkedIn, which means you search on LinkedIn, then you grab them, then you do anything. They don't have a database or anything. So if LinkedIn goes away, they're done. This tool, if LinkedIn goes away, it doesn't matter because they've already got all the people. They've already got everything. LinkedIn going bye-bye or getting sucked into Microsoft, whatever, won't matter to this tool at all. So if there are not any other questions, we're going to move on to the next place. Twofer. Now, some people have heard of Twofer, some people haven't heard of Twofer. Twofer is a really cool tool. It's all about finding emails, work emails, lists, and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what it does. Let me log in real quick. I actually had all this stuff ready last night. And so sometimes when you leave something in there for too long, it signs you out automatically, and then you have to sign back in. So I'm going to sign back in real quick. Yes, TOOFR is the name of the site. Okay, so I've signed in. So here's some of what it can do. First name, last name, company website, and it will try to find you an email. That's the finder part. Checker obviously checks the email. Is it good or is it bad? Directory. You can actually put in a company website or the company name, and it will find you email addresses associated with that company. Now, some of you are like, okay, well, how does that help me? Well, if you find people that work for, say, Amazon, pretty good chance a lot of them are tech people, which is good. You can then download that list, stick it into Seekout, and then Seekout will enhance it, and you'll end up having a list of a lot of the employees that work for the company. And a lot of them are going to be developers, architects, PMs, stuff like that. So you can basically go after a company. And that's one of the things I really like about this tool. You can actually go after and target a company and get everybody you need about them. The bulk part is what is really cool. Basically, as you can see, your first name, last name, and the company name or domain. Upload the list, and it will go out and find you the emails for them. Now it is work, but that's okay because any recruiter that's afraid to contact somebody at work really needs to really seriously think about if this is right for them, because you have to be able to. But more importantly, who cares? I got the first name, last name, the company, and their work email. I can put it into Seekout, and I might get personal information then. And there's another tool that will be back up and running in the next 3 weeks called Glance that uses work emails to find personal information. So that's going to be it. I can't show you it right now because Glance is down. They're redoing some UI on it, so it'll be back up in a couple of weeks. But there you go. Now, here's another thing that's interesting. You can actually create lists and sell them or buy them. I've got a boatload list. No, I have never sold or bought them. You can sell and buy them. So you can actually make a little money this way. Let's see. You can request other people to find lists for you. And here's the list for sale. So let's see what we got in here.
Dean, we did have a question.
Yeah, I'm kind of half keeping on it while I'm back and forth. Does Seekout and Twofer have Chrome extension, or do you have to sit through? Both have Chrome extensions, yes. The Seekout one will find contact information on social sites and allow you to grab the particular profile. For now, it's going to be doing a lot more as soon as they do the Twitter, Facebook, and all that. And then for Twofer, it pretty much just brings you here now, but soon it's not. Soon it's going to allow you to do some things right from the extension. So here's an example. If you're Texas AS and software CEOs, so if you're somebody looking for CEOs that are in Texas that are working for SaaS and software companies, there's a list already built out for you. It's only $5 and it has 1,000 people in it. So for those of you that want to just buy lists of people, depending on what it is you're looking for, there are a lot of lists in here of people, and they already give you, and the list can be anywhere from $5, well, $0 actually. I've seen some for free, but most are $5 and go up to as much as 100. It's the highest I've ever seen, but that list had like 7,000 people in it. It was a pretty good list. So if I go to page 2, we still got a lot of SaaS people. Obviously, somebody out there is looking for a lot of SaaS. Accountants in Los Angeles. If you're looking for accountants in Los Angeles, here's for $20 you can get what appears to be 304 people with whatever contact information, everything you need, ready to rock. California financial planner. Here you go. C Sharp Developers, 550 records, $20. Ready to rock.
Does it have healthcare org lists as well?
You would need to look. Let's see what they do have. Well, first of all, it's not about org lists. Let's see. Let's start with healthcare and see what it gets. Leaders of HR. That definitely ain't it. So let's see what else could it be. Oh, let's see if there's a list on doctors. Arizona medical doctors and clinics. There's one for Arizona. 4,600. Wow, Arizona's got a lot of freaking doctors. 4,608 of them to be precise. Wow. So you just got to look. You just got to look. Decide what you let's see, hospital. Yeah, hospital CMO. Where is it from? Let's see, how big is it? It's got 135 records, so it's from a particular city. He didn't do whoever. Oh, that's hospitality. It's not hospital. That might be why it's not so big. You just got to kind of look.
Can you try RN for registered nurses?
I'll try RN, then I'll have to spell it out. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. RN is going to be a very negligible thing. Nobody's going to call their list RN. And it doesn't look like they have nurses either from the looks of it. And RSES, try that one more time, unless I misspelled nurses, which happens sometimes. Yeah, evidently not nurses. But Seek Out has a boatload of nurses in it, by the way, FYI. FYI, all nurses and doctors have to be registered with whatever state's Board of Health or whatever it's called. And usually on that site, there's a list of them all and where they work. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's actually one of the easier things to search for if you know where and how to search. You could also try companies, private, Who is that? I'd love to know who that is because I got a feeling I know them. P440D. Yeah, I should have known. Hey, D. Let's see. So the other thing is to look at private organizations that have, that have their own, that are like WebMD. Let's see. I doubt that. I'm just making stuff up right now. No. All right. I'm going to show some other places that might help you out, D. So I'm getting there. So if there are not any questions, we're going to move on. No. Okay, next is intelligence. Now, before we go any further, you guys have got to understand something. OSINT, open source intelligence. This is a word most of y'all have not heard, or if you have, it's probably because you were at the last SourceCon. Open source intelligence is a fancy way of saying all the places that are easy and open to find information. Facebook is OSINT. Now, mind you, on a scale of 1 to 10, Facebook is a 1. There is stuff out there that will literally freak you out that is only a 7. So there's stuff even more freaky than some of the stuff that I'm talking about. If you were at SourceCon, you know what I'm talking about because you saw my presentation. If you weren't at SourceCon, I suggest you do some research or contact me and I'll send you my presentation because that stuff's freaky. What I'm going to show you, though, is some of the less freaky stuff that's free right here available. So I'm going to tools, and I'm actually writing a series of video blog posts on this. I've actually done search engines, Facebook and Twitter, that'll get posted soon. OSINT links. These are basically things that were put together to allow you to search these particular OSINT orientated places. So we're going to go to Facebook first. So you'll see, look at all these ways to search Facebook. Look at them all. I mean, literally anything you could imagine, you could search. So we're going to do one up here, right here in the multiple variables, and I'm going to go the current employer or title, and we're going to pick RN and see what happens. And we're going to do an N. We're going to do, no, actually, we're not going to do an N. I just want an RN. I just want to see what happens. And we're going to push it. And what it's going to do is it's going to go in here and look at all those RNs. There you go, D. Now you're probably going, okay, what good does that help me? Well, you got RN at Missouri Baptist Children's Home. You're trying to tell me you really can't find an email address? And they're like, well, that's great, but I need to get the list. Well, there's a little handy dandy tool called Data Miner, which has recipes to get information off of Facebook. Look what I just did. Name, title, company could be there, extra information, again, company could be there. Somewhere in here is everything you need. All you got to do is clean it up and stick it into Seek Out and let Seek Out do the rest of the work for you. By the way, for those of you wondering, if anybody else has a specific role besides D, I'm more than willing to help because I might as well use them as examples. That's how simple it can be. Now, soon, Seek Out will have all this for you, so it won't really matter. But that's probably a month down the road. Let's see, I'm missing a question or two, so let me back up here. Who, woo, yeah. Can you send out a recording of this presentation? That's not for me. Do you need to be logged into Facebook to see the list? Probably. I don't know. I haven't tried it without being logged in because unlike LinkedIn, I'll stay logged into Facebook. LinkedIn, I don't. FYI, guys, don't stay logged into LinkedIn. If you're not in it to do something, log out. If you're not logged in, they don't know what you're doing. They can't track you. So just log out. That's how I stay out of trouble. Everyone will get the recording later. How about blockchain? Not going to discuss. I've been using Untitled Search. Good. I'm not really going to get into blockchain. And the reason I'm not getting into blockchain is because there's a lot of variables I don't feel like getting into. I have a list, as you can see, of things I want to show you and a whole lot more. So I don't really want to talk too much about blockchain. Here's what I will stay. I'll tell you why stay logged out in a minute. What I will tell you, there is a Chrome extension, and if you email me, I'll give you the name, where you can actually automate a lot of these Chrome-oriented things. So I've actually got one created, which will actually automatically, when I get on a list of any kind, not on Facebook because I have it deactivated right now, will automatically launch data miner, scrape it, automatically download it, and automatically upload it to Seekout. It took me 3 days to make it, so it's not easy. It's basically because I'm a perfectionist and I wanted it to be perfect. That's why it took me longer. I could have gotten it done in an hour probably. But email me, I'll tell you the name of that tool. You're gonna have to play with it to get it to work the way you want. But there is some ways to get things to work automatically. And I know that's not what you're talking about with blockchain, but I'm just brought that up. Don't want to deal with blockchain right now. Blockchain is something in the recruiting world still kind of, I don't want to say it's new, but it's still being explored. Why stay out of LinkedIn? The reason why you want to stay out of LinkedIn, okay, I'm not in LinkedIn, is because LinkedIn is keeping an eye on you. They keep an eye on the extensions you're using, how long you look at a profile, how many profile views you make, everything. And as you're logged in, they can see it. So why stay logged in? If you log out, then they can't track you. See, what's going on is if you have Chrome extensions or any kind of anything going on in the background, you don't know what those things are doing when you're logged into LinkedIn. They might be going and checking LinkedIn every so often, which now means they think you're searching, or they think you're looking at profiles. So that's counting against your number. Yes, believe it or not, evidently there is a number because a lot of people get in trouble for viewing too many profiles, which is mind-boggling to me. I mean, we're paying for it. We should have a limit, but whatever. So by logging out, that stops all of that. No, I didn't say Facebook. I said LinkedIn. I am talking about LinkedIn. I personally do not log into LinkedIn. I stay logged out of LinkedIn. I only log in when I need to do something. So I'll show you what I mean. I was just in LinkedIn a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I remembered to log out. If I didn't, then I'm a really not. See, I'm logged out. They can't trace me when I'm logged out. They don't know what I'm doing when I'm logged out. And here's why. You see all these extensions? These are extensions that they are keeping an eye on to make sure they don't violate their agreement. I'm logged out, but these are the ones that they're looking at. Now, I don't have all of these. Some of these are not ones I would ever have. I check them out, but some of these I do have, but I don't actually use them all the time. By the way, notice no seek out. So now, mind you, just because they're monitoring doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. You can still use them. There's some that are a problem, but most of these are not. So how do you know which one's a problem? It's real simple. If it changes the UI, meaning the way LinkedIn interface pops up when you're looking at profile, if there's some change in some part of the profile other than the way LinkedIn made it to be, that violates their agreement. Now, there's white space on the left and right. That doesn't matter. It's only the UI itself. If it blocks it, changes it, whatever. That's number one. Number two, they say you're not supposed to scrape the data and all this like that. And to a point, that's correct, and to a point, that's not correct. And let me tell you why I say that. I say that because they themselves scrape the data. They themselves use a lot of these Chrome extensions. Microsoft, who owns them, scrapes the data and uses a lot of Chrome extensions. They can't stop you from cutting and pasting. They have no way of knowing you're doing that. That's the one thing they can't tell. So it's only to a point, which is why a tool like Seekout's so good, because they're not cutting and scraping anything out of LinkedIn. It's all out of Google, and they've already got it. So I've learned, number one, not to stay logged into LinkedIn, only log in and out as needed, which doesn't bother me in the least, because frankly, I don't go in there that often, except to check my mail. And number two, when I do something in there, I'm very careful what I do. Lucia, which is a really good tool a lot of people use finding emails and phone numbers, I have Lucia. It's not activated right now. I have it deactivated. I will activate it when I need to. And that's because I have concerns. So I will activate it when I need it, and deactivate it as soon as I'm done, and move on down the highway. Does it take an extra half second of my life? Yeah, okay, fine, it does, but it keeps me out of trouble. I've only been suspended out of LinkedIn once in my entire life, and that had nothing to do with Chrome extensions. It had to do with the fact that I log in when at that time I had logged into LinkedIn on 4 different computers, and all of them have different IP addresses, and some of them had IP addresses that weren't even in the country because I use a VPN that changes my IP address, rotates it quite regularly, and that's because I'm an ethical hacker, and that's what I was taught to do. So for me, I've got boatloads of Chrome extensions, and I only have certain percentage activated, probably 20% of them, as you can see. You see all the ones that are in the background that aren't in bold. Those are the ones I have that aren't activated, and I have a boatload of them. But I only activate them as I need them, and then I deactivate them. And the reason is I just don't want to have them active all the time. 1, they eat resources, and 2, you just don't know what's going on, especially with LinkedIn, who's doing everything they can to make it hard to use these. I mean, if those of you who use Chrome have never noticed LinkedIn's a little slower on it than on Bing, or whenever you're not in a Chrome browser, that's because it's been done purposely to slow it down, hoping you guys will stop using those browsers and therefore stop using Chrome extensions. And of course, they were bought by Microsoft, so if it was up to them, it would only work on Bing. All right, so I'm digressing. I got way off. I understand about the cookies, Dee. There's nothing I can do about about what your company does, unfortunately. So anyway, so that's why. No, you do not stay logged into. I do not stay logged into LinkedIn. The reason I don't stay logged into LinkedIn is because of that exact reason. I just don't like people monitoring me. This isn't Big Brother. So anyway, getting back, we digress. So that was an example of what we did for Facebook. But as you can see over here, there are a plethora of different things you can search. Twitter. Look at all these ways you can search Twitter for people based on what they're talking about, based on their photos, based on bios and profiles, all sorts of stuff. Instagram, another one. Decent amount of ways to search. Usernames. You can actually search people's usernames. What I like about this is populate all. You see, I populated all the different places to search, and I could search all of them or any one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a Noam. And as you can see, star 4343. It's doing all this stuff. We're doing social searches, and down here at the bottom, it's already done it once. I'm just going through again. So you have different ones, blogging, whatever. As you can see, blog, talk, radio. It's been taken. All this one over here, which is intense debate, it's been taken. WordPress, oops, an error. I already not worried about it. So it basically will tell you whether that username is available or not. Now, what does it tell you? Well, humans are creatures of habit. We tend to use the same thing over and over and over again. This can give you a decent idea where else I might be. I am on Tumblr. I am on WordPress. I am on this one. I am not on that one. Unless I became on that one because I'm on this one. Sometimes some of these are connected to where if you're on this, you're automatically on that. I am on Blogger, but that's not my username I use for Blogger. I use a different username for Blogger. So there you go. And that's what it does. It allows you to put pieces of a puzzle together. You can even do an email search. I actually do have an email associated with star 4343. And all it really does is search all the varying different places you could search. And mine is actually a Hotmail, by the way. So it's up there and it's actually right there as well. So there you go. And that is a very, 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 very old post. Way back when I was actually looking for a job, I actually posted myself on eBay as a hiring gun looking for a job. I actually got about 500 people contact me about work. And as you can see, there it is. Something a little different I wanted to try, and it worked. So this was a long time ago, 9 years ago. So anyway, real name searches, email addresses, telephone numbers, domains, IPs, YouTube, reverse image, reverse video. I mean, it's endless. And a lot of what they've done is just made it simple. So instead of having to go to each site, you can actually search them all right from one place. And it's just simple, easy, and makes life easy. I mean, there's not much else to say. There's communities and stuff, just great site. I can't use, so if there are any questions about this, I'm going to move on because we are running out of time and I do have a lot to show you. So for some of you, you might notice sometimes you're trying to do a search and you say you can't get to that site. And a lot of that is because that search or that site is on a, it's from another country usually or something like that. There's a way around that. In this case, you can actually search as if you're from a particular country or using a particular device in a particular language, whatever you want. So if I was to do Canada there, and I'm going to keep the language blank, and I'm going to say, let's use an Android tablet, and I'm searching for, you can even pick a city, that's kind of fun. And let's see what we get. Now, the first thing you're going to notice, if you look up in the URL, it automatically took me to the google.ca, which is Google Canada. That's Canada's version of Google. And here's the results. So it worked. And that's the way it would look if I was looking at an Android tablet, which actually looks a little bit like my Android tablet, so it makes sense. So there you go. That's how simple it is. Like I said, it comes in handy when you're trying to search at sites that they just say you can't reach this site for some odd reason, or this site doesn't work. It's usually because location. It's usually a location or a country issue. It's called isearchfrom.com, and that's it. Now, Human Predictions is a pretty brand new site and tool. And as you can see, I've already logged in, and look at all those people. You gotta love people. Chief architect, developer. If I remember correctly, I did my search on developer. It's called humanpredictions.io. In my case, I'm in the people search. And basically, it's just a database of boatloads of people, and you just search. So let's see. Let's just stick with developer. I'm not going to worry about anything else. Just developer, and we'll see what we get. And there we go. Chief architect, same people, because I already looked up developer. Utility player, junior developer. Here's different social sites they're on. Kaggle, what is that? Oh, really, Ruby. Oh, cool. GitHub, Stack Overflow, GitHub, all sorts of neat stuff. You can save these people. You can whatever. Me personally, I like the fact that you got a chief architect, you know what country they're in. You really don't need to save much of nothing because you already, let me see if I can get this done right, because you already know everything you need to know right there. But let's come out, so you don't really need much else for those of you that know about data miner. Data miner, which I already showed you, in this case, I'm going to do the right click. And look at that. I grabbed everybody already. I got their name. I got emails. Ha ha ha. Name and email. Gotta love that. Company, I know how many other social profiles there are. I got their title. But you notice what I got by scraping? Let's open that bad boy. I got their emails. And that was a right click. That's another way of scraping with data miner. You have to play with it sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work quite this well. It worked really well. And what I really love all the emails. What I like about the fact is, you notice their emails aren't showing here. That's what I like about it. It grabbed them even though they're not actually showing. And point of note, even though they're not showing, let's see, email qualifier also grabbed them all. Email qualifier is a tool that looks for email addresses on a web page. So obviously these email addresses are behind the picture or the name, one or the other. My guess would be the picture. And it's grabbing them anyway. So that's why I'm one of these things like, I don't know if this costs or not. I've never been charged for it, but if they ever decide to make it cost, I'm not paying for it. I'm just going to search and do what I just did, and I'm good. So let's see here. Human predictions, 300,000. Oh, okay, that's a lot of people. Oh, yeah, that's the results for that particular search. Thank you. 322,647. Let's try something different. Let's try project manager. See what we get. If I get the same people, I'm going to be really annoyed. Oh, we got different people. We got 30,446. Now, some say software engineer. I'd have to hazard a guess somewhere in their background they were a project manager. Is probably why they're pulling up. You got a lot of them, but then down here you got product manager, project manager, program manager. It depends on the company. Each one's a little uses them different. There's some more product managers down there, so who knows? It's a good site. I haven't paid for it. No one's asked me to pay for it. So I'm assuming it's a free site right now, which I actually know it is. I don't know why I'm saying I'm assuming it's a free site right now. But again, the big key is you can grab all these people, download them, and be good to go. Here's another way to download them, but you never know, like I said. So any questions? I'm going to move on. I guess I'm moving on. Apache Hadoop. This is actually the apache.org site, and I've shown this a few times because I just think this is so interesting and neat. Obviously, Apache has other parts to it besides just Hadoop. They're all going to be more or less the same. So I'm just going to show you how to find people in this one. So over here, you have what is Apache, hello, Hadoop, news, releases, versioning, mailing lists, and a partridge in a pear tree down here. I'm going to pick one of these here. I'm going to pick on Hive. I don't know why, just am. And we're going to get over here. You got home, download, licensing, community, become a commentator, edit website, how to contribute, blah, 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 mailing lists, people, all sorts of stuff. Now I'm going to show a few different areas here just so you can understand what you got here. So we got mailing lists, you got archives, all sorts of stuff here. I'm going to go into the archive of Apache, and you see all these different conversations stuff going on. Now this is in the Hive part of Apache. I'm going to go into February of 2018. And these are conversations that are happening with people there. So as an example, I'm going to pick this conversation with that Shankar is involved. Now, we know this is Gmail's hit. If we come down in here, now obviously we're in this particular area, so we know that that's what these people are doing. These people are messing with Hive and Apache, Hadoop. That's what these people are. Right here is an email. Now, a lot of times that's not there. A lot of times there is no email. The email's hid like this one up here. But even when they're hid, you can still find them, because if you come down here to the raw message and open it up, you get the text version. And you're going to find, and we're going to use email qualifier, all the email addresses for everybody in the conversation are there. So even if they're hidden, see, remember at the very top, it was hidden, it was ... something. That email address is sitting up here somewhere in this thread. And all you got to do is find it. In this case, I'm going to cheat because I don't feel like waiting. And it is right there. The FE5 whatever is one of them. There's another email. All these people are conversing about Hive and Hadoop, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 emails from 5 different people. And if we go back to the original conversation, if I'm not mistaken, there was only one. And that was right here, and that was this person. But they don't always appear. Normally they're blocked out like the one up top. It just so happened this particular one, we got lucky and they happened to be all there. But as you can see, that's the only email listed here. Whereas when we went into the raw message, which included all the messaging between everybody, we got everybody's emails. So this is a really good way. And like I said, this is the archive for the Hive and Hadoop. There's a whole, this is all Hadoop oriented stuff, big data. There's a whole section on just languages, a whole section on Java. And it's all the same way. Once you get into where the messaging is going on, and you look at the raw data, you can get all these email addresses. And remember, even email addresses, if you upload them to Seekout will enhance it for you. But how much do you really need? You know these people are all Hadoop people. The only thing you don't know is where they're located. So any questions there? And I would even argue from all the research I've done, that a lot of sites like this are the same way. There's a way where you can see what's going on, but they hide emails. But if you get to that raw message, which almost all of them will have, you can get the real emails. Just a lot of people don't realize you can do it. So DevSourcer. DevSourcer says it has 7 million plus developers and growing. Developers, testers, architects, those type of people. So let's see what they got. Let's do Seattle. Now, of course, you realize, obviously, I've already done this 1.5 million times. We're going to pick on just plain old Java. And I'm going to go with 4 years plus. And we're going to search. So FYI, this is supposed to end at 12. Normally I'm more than willing to stay after. This time I can't, I have a hard stop. But if we're in the middle of something, I will finish because we've got a whole boatload of stuff I haven't even gotten to yet. Since I am an impatient man and they are looking through almost 8 million people, I'm going to let it run and come back to it when it's done and move on. So those of you who are working for Microsoft, cover your ears, close your eyes, and come back in about 5 minutes. This site, something I discovered a long time ago and I've been playing with it, lists a boatload of people at Microsoft. And as you can see, it's got their name, it's got their title and everything like that. This guy here, I actually hired back in 2007, I believe, if I remember correctly. If you open them, in not all cases, a lot of cases, you're going to see a whole bunch of great information about him. In this case, we got his LinkedIn profiles, Facebook, Twitter, and his website. Now, if I go to his website, logic dictates, we're probably going to have a way to contact him. Let's see if I'm right. I could be wrong. He's also the co-founder of Videolater, whatever that is. Contact. Let's see what that does. Oh, wow. A way to contact him. A whole bunch of ways to contact him. And that's his email, omeo.@outlook.com. You got his email. So now you can contact him and try to recruit him if that's what you'd like to do. I actually think I know him too. Not all of them, but a lot of them have a lot of information in here, enough to try to maybe figure out information about how to contact. If nothing else, you already know where they work and you already know what their name is. So that alone will get you in there. But research areas, you can go into those and see what it says. This person doesn't have a lot of info, but you do know his name. You do know he's at Microsoft. You know he's an SD Manager. You can cross-reference them in LinkedIn. You can just go ahead and try to figure out what their email address might be relevant to Microsoft. I mean, early on, they didn't really have a specific naming convention, but now they do. In this case, you just go here where it says email and there's his email. So some of them have it, some of them don't, but most of them do.
Question from Adam. Dean, can you try one for a C+ and Redmond at the senior level?
I have that's one thing when I've tried to search for these, I've not been able to, I mean, I'll try it, but I have not been able to get the search part of it to really do it quite like that. But let's see if it does or does not. Only one person. So they have to list it on their profile. A lot of them won't. So that's a bit of a problem. Oh, you said C#. I thought you said C++. My bad. Let's try C#. I still don't think it's going to work, so it's not going to matter. Yeah, they have to list it, and they don't. Oh, a lot of them just list their title. So you're going to have to go in, look at it, read it, and you'll be able to figure out what they do. So I'm sorry about that's not that's the limitation of this particular site. You're just going to have to go in and look at each one or cross-reference them or whatever the case may be. Let's see if we cross-reference Ronald out there somewhere. Let's just do the Google search. This is a tool called Sales Search that lets you quickly, yeah, so that's his site right there. And there's his LinkedIn profile. So you could easily get in there and figure out what he does. I'm not. Well, okay, yeah, I am. Oh, wow, look at that. I can still see his profile even though I'm not logged into LinkedIn. Isn't that funny? There's a Chrome extension that lets you do that, by the way. You can email me. I'll give you the info. He's got C# evidently. Yep, so there you go. That's how you do it. Unfortunately, that's not information that they have listed. You can't search. But it's a really cool site. And you can get a whole lot of information off them. So I've answered that question. Let's go back to Dev Scanner. I bet you I have to stay on the site for it to work. Long story short, when this thing finally comes back, it's going to come back with a boatload of people with contact information, where they're at, and all sorts of stuff. I'm guessing I have to stay on it for it to work. And I don't really want to waste a whole lot of time on it. I had a search already pre-done, but decided to go back and show it to you from scratch. So you'll get a list. I'll have their name, their company they work at, their title, social sites, email addresses, all sorts of neat stuff for all these developers. But it does take a little time. It's not the fastest database in the world. It is going through almost 8 million people. And I am looking for the biggest grouping of them at 4+ years. Let's see what happens if I change that to maybe something that might be a little bit easier to search. There won't be as many of them, so at least I can show you what it is. Seattle, Java. We'll stick with the junior because there shouldn't be as many of them. One would hope, but who knows? 4+ years is a huge group. Let's give it a minute, a few seconds. As you can see, I have a bunch of stuff still to show you, so I'm not going to wait too much longer. Or I could be a complete another smart aleck. And while it's searching over there, I'll let it keep searching, but pull it over here. Can you guys still see this screen where it says HOLA? I'm assuming yes. All right. So here's another site called HOLA. What I did is I just moved my screen off so it could still keep searching on the right side. When it's done, I'll pull it back over so you can see it. So you enter name, location, company, LinkedIn URL, whatever you want. I'm going to pick on Amazon. Oops, I don't know why I keep picking on Amazon. I just do. Seattle. And there we go. And there you go. That's what you get. You get their name, their title, where they work. You can view their profile. I'm not logged in, so maybe not. Oh, there you go. You don't get their email address or anything like that. For that, of course, you have to be logged in and or pay. Let me log in. And you just log in with your Google, so that probably means it is free. But I'm pretty sure you have to, yeah, you get 50 a month for free. There it is. I gotta remember this sometimes. And you can get their email addresses if you want. But here's my feeling on it. This is just me. I mean, I'll use my 50 free, obviously, a month, but I've got their name, I got their title, I got where they work. I mean, I can kind of figure out their work email pretty easily, and all I gotta do is kind of highlight and scrape it, and I got everybody I need. And this is the simple one for data miner, which only grabbed one per. Remember, sometimes I told you you got to play with it to make it grab everybody. Well, this is an example where you need to play with it or create a recipe that'll work on HOLA, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I've already got. Let me see. Pretty sure. Yep, right there. So let's run it. And there you go. Now I got the whole first page of results, which is all I wanted to, because I was just trying to show people. I mean, I got their name, I got their title, I got the company. I don't need, I can find work emails from there and then cross-reference work emails and do whatever I want. So, I mean, I'll use my 50, but after that, I'm not worried about it because it's 50 a month for free. So I don't worry too much about it. So pretty cool site, has a lot of different people, a lot of different titles and stuff on it. I am going to go ahead and bring the entire thing back over because I'm not going to wait on DevSourcer. It does take time, but it really is good when it works. Code project, pretty much the same thing as before. You got subjects on different subject lines, so we'll go to C++. And you got people, the forum they're in and stuff like that. So let's go to the .NET forum, see what their discussion. You see this, you see how it says Chris Munder, Indiana 13. Well, let's hover over Chris. And you see, well, let's open Chris. And you see, look at what we get. We get all this information about him. You get his Twitter, his GitHub, his Google+, his LinkedIn, and his web page. And if on his web page is his email address. So you can easily and quickly find people's email addresses here. Now, I'm not going to tell you they all list all this information, mainly because I'm 99% sure they don't all list all this information, but they do list a decent amount of information, more than enough to figure out who they are. His name is Eddie whatever. He is in the Netherlands, and here's his webpage. So on his webpage is an email. Let's pick Richard Deming. I don't have any. He's in Switzerland, I believe. Is that Switzerland flag? Nope, United Kingdom. Couldn't see it. I got bad eyes. Again, there's his webpage. There's an RSS feed. Always a way to contact people. And the good part is you don't have to actually open. You can actually just go, oh, hey, there we go, US, systems engineer. MAC address, yeah, that would make sense. He does not list his email address. I mean, a web page, he has his RSS, don't really care, but here, let's see, David Krasowski, good. Systems engineer, oh, he works at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Guess what that means? I can find his work email. Once I have his work email, you can even try to see if he's used this picture anywhere else, and maybe it'll give you more info. You can cross-reference him using that site, using that tool I just showed you, Sales Search, and do a Google search or Twitter or whatever. So many ways to find people. Let's see, it is now 12:01. I can keep going for a few more minutes or we can stop. Anybody? Dan? Somebody? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
My time is your time, Dean. I know you have a hard stop, but could you type into the chat the email that you'd like people to contact you if they have follow-up questions? I know you probably have a number of those. What should people use?
Well, my smart aleck answer is y'all are recruiters and y'all can't find my email, time for a new job. But my legit answer is that. Bye, D. Okay, so Kelly wants me to keep going, so I'll keep going a little bit. I got about 3 or 4 more minutes I can probably spend, and then I got to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this tool, which is called HeadReach. It's a people finding tool. It's real simple. You can search by people name, you can search by website, do advanced search, you can do search people by company. So we're going to pick on Amazon again. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody was picking on Microsoft. Let's pick on Microsoft. And there's Microsoft and Search. Now, this could take a few minutes. Again, we're looking for people that, well, maybe not as much. There you go. Now, over here is when we can get a little more specific. So let's add in the word developer and the software developer. And let's go down and increase our search. So now we're looking for people who work for Microsoft who are our software developers. Now, of course, we got to hope that that's still a title to use. And there we go. A whole bunch of people that work at or have worked at Microsoft that are software developers. And find Amber's email address and social security number. You get 10 a month, I believe, or 10 a week. 10 a month or 10 a week for free. But again, I got their name. I know their title. I know where they work. I really don't need to waste my money to find people's emails. I will for this particular one just so you can see it. And that's assuming it finds one. It doesn't always. In this case, it didn't. All it did was find me their LinkedIn profile, which is good. I can get to a LinkedIn profile and use other tools to find it there. So either way, I'm good. And of course, you can scrape all this information using data miner like any other site. Moving along, unless there are questions. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a site called Elusify. Actually, it was about a month ago. It went bye-bye. It was bought by the Circleback Contact people, but they have released this, which is basically the same thing. And it allows you to do a bunch of stuff. Now, I'm not going to pick on any of these things here. What I'm going to pick on specifically is this, developer. There's the title. And now what I'm going to do is close that and come down here to the company because we want to pick on a particular company. And we're going to pick on Microsoft. And then we're going to search. And there's Microsoft, and then we're going to search. So what it should be doing is looking for all the people who have the title developer and work at Microsoft. And here you go. Now, you get a certain number free here to find contact information per month. Everything else you gotta pay for. But again, okay, really? You're giving me all this, and you really expect me to pay? Let's see what happens. Oh, in most cases, it's going to give you a work email anyway. So let's see what happens if we use the easy data miner version. Oh, look at all that. We got all of them, and we didn't have to spend a dime. Oh, and what's really cool is you see the 425 with all the X's and then the this with all the X's. That's kind of cool because it also gives you a little bit of an idea into they're all work emails, no personal ones, but at least you know the first initial, which we already knew. The phone numbers are the 882-8080 numbers, so that's not helping you. But you've got everything you need. You got your first name, you got your title, you got the company. That's all you really need. And you can start contacting these people, cross-reference, do whatever floats your boat.
Dean, a question about setting up recipes to use these data miners.
Well, before you try to create a recipe, make sure there's not one already created. There are public recipes. Use them first. And then if not, follow the tutorials that they provide to create a recipe. And if that fails, attend the next SourceCon in the programming track. I'm going to teach in part of that. I'm going to be teaching people how to create a recipe using data miner. And if you can't go to SourceCon, then contact me and I'll help show you how to do it. It's not that hard. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll do another webinar on just how to do that, but it'll be after SourceCon. So, all right. So They Rule. They Rule is really cool site. I don't know why I like this site. So it's good for executive recruiters. So I'm gonna pick company, and I'm just gonna pick any old company because I really don't give a flying flip. We'll put Amagen. Show directors, and look at all the directors that work there. I like it because I like the UI part of it. I think it's pretty cool. And you can hover over them and get more information. You can see what boards they're on. He's on the Laboratory Corp of America. He's on the Levi Strauss Company and the McDonald's Corporation. Now that's interesting. clothing and food. This person's on Deere and Company, which I think, is that John Deere? Maybe, I don't know. Apple and Chevron. I mean, you can get so much information. Jeans and burgers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jeans and burgers. You can get so much information. Now you're probably wondering, okay, great, but how do I contact these people? You don't. You know what company they refer. You got their name. Find their naming convention. But what this does is this lets you know other things that they're involved in. That gives you a little more insight into into what they are. Not, oh, this person here doesn't have much. Now we can do research on this person and look what we get on the person. We get a little bio on them. Read and edit information. She's part of Little Sis, evidently. She's presently the president of Emeritus of Trinity Health System. So she's not working there anymore. She's on the Amagen board. So these are people who are on a board. Or were a director, served as director of the company. Yep. So since May 95, she's currently president of Emeritus of Trinity Health, the national system of healthcare. Well, we all know what they are, actually. Finding email address, no problem. So you even do research on them. Just so much you can do. And these are all the places where it's looking for the research, and it did it almost instantaneously. Wikipedia, Little Sis, Google, FLCIO, SourceWatch, blah blah blah. It's a really cool little site. I just like the way it brings it out, makes it simpler to me. So let's see. Last thing I'm going to show you. People Maven. Now I've known about this for a long time, but I haven't done a whole lot with it. If I look up developer, what people have done in here is let's do the best Ruby developers in Dallas. Let's say I want to find Ruby developers in Dallas. Well, there's only one person part of that group, so that ain't gonna work. Let's not London. Let's try Denver, see if there's more. There's 2 people. So I've already got 2 people that I already know are Ruby developers in a list that I can start looking at. And let's see what we got here. He's a Ruby developer in Denver. Here's what he does. 4 years Ruby experience, blah, 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 blah. For more information, go to TopToe. Okay, so let's go to TopToe. And there he is with more information about him, including where he works, which now means I have what? I have an email address ready to go, and it's a full profile. So what's going on is people have just created lists. Now, these 2 lists were really small. There are some really big lists out there. I mean, there's lists with hundreds of people. It's got best female full stack developers in New York City. For those of you looking for diversity, here's a list. And there are not boatload, but there's about what, 15, 12, 8, 11. Let's look at hers. And we got all this stuff. And in this case, the information must have come off a Recruit Loop. Let's go on to Recruit Loop, see what Recruit Loop, otherwise known as Fruit Loops, has got to say. Top female, oh, well, there you go. There you go. Not only do we have that now, but we have their, we have where they work, we have where they used to work, we have personal websites, GitHub, Stack Overflow. I mean, you got everything you need right here, done over. And it all started here. Best cryptocurrency advisors, best tech bloggers, best whatever that word is, GPM. All sorts of really, 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 really cool stuff. And you just gotta keep searching. There's more matches. Those are like the top 4 or 5. Look at all these matches we have here, and this still isn't all of them. Best developers at Sybase Software. Best software developers at Bloomberg. I don't even know how many people are in there. That'd be interesting to know. Maybe one, maybe hundreds. Yeah, well, this one's got at least 12. 4 times 3, yeah, it's 12. So there you go. So that's a cool little site. And that's really it for right now, because we're past. Hello? Dan?
I'm here, Dean. Just wondering if there's any last final questions. I could unmute everybody. I know you said you had a hard stop. We really appreciate it, Dean. Thank you so much. Obviously, we could give you 6 hours and you probably couldn't share everything.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. So there you go. And I hope everybody has a good week. Feel free to reach out if you have questions. And that's all, folks. Dan?
Thank you, Dean. Thanks, everybody, for attending. Everybody will get a copy of this recording and reach out to Dean. As he said, if you don't know how to find him, you're probably in the wrong field. I know that I'm a rookie, but I know how to find Dean. So if worse comes to worse, I won't tell Dean. Contact us. We'll get you an email.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.